All right, everyone, let's talk a little bit about the Rossettis from a really impressive family. Here is Dante, and this is Christina, and you have some photographs of them, and then a painting of Christina done by Dante in her later life. One of the really great things about having a brother for a painter, I suppose, is there are a lot of ways in which Christina appears in his work, as well as Dante's wife Elizabeth, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So the Rossettis, especially Dante, belonged to a movement called the Pre-Raphaelite movement. So it was a Victorian movement, an artistic movement that rejected the style of the High Renaissance. They found the painter Raphael particularly objectionable, and they liked earlier styles of painting better. They didn't like Sir Joshua Reynolds, they called him Sir Schloshua, and they disliked anything sloshy, anything lax, anything commonplace or conventional. And so pre-Raphaelite painting, let me actually have us look here. This is a very famous pre-Raphaelite painting by Sir John Everett Millais. This is one of Dante Gabriel's paintings with his wife Elizabeth as a model. She was a model for many of Dante's paintings. Tragically committed suicide. She was pregnant with the couple's child at the time. But it wasn't just Elizabeth. You can see Christina appearing as muse in many of the paintings as well. There she is as the Virgin Mary. Interesting to see the way that Dante paints his sister. Here she's sort of both an angel as well as Mary. So while Dante is perhaps better known for his painting, although we did read some poetry of his as well, Christina is known as the poet, and in some ways her fame has been a little bit more lasting than her brother's. She wrote to him, "Here's a great discovery. Women are not men." And then she goes on to kind of demur and say, "So don't expect me to have your capacities, don't expect me to have your ability." Although, as a poet, it's her work, particularly Goblin Market, but also poems like After Death and Remember, that have really been influential. So Goblin Market, I hope you get a chance to read it all. It's not very long. The lines are short. It's terrifying. At least I think it's terrifying. In Victorian times, people read it as a children's fable. But as our book says, that Goblin Market features the enticements of sensual knowledge. Regarded chiefly as a children's tale in the 19th century, the poem has subsequently attracted much critical attention, including analyses of it as a struggle between self and soul, a comment on sex and as a capitalist commodity, a parable of feminist solidarity, a lesson about poetry's subversive power, and a lesbian love story. This fable about the danger of desire provides insight into the dualistic world of Victorian fantasy. Temptation is a part of this poem. Violence is a part of this poem. Remember that we've talked about duality as part of the Victorian experience. It was a time of morality or prudery, but it was also a time when a lot was happening that wasn't being talked about openly, shall we say. I think I mentioned the statistic that I had a professor share with me about the average Victorian man having 6 different sexual encounters a week. The poem is fascinating, and we'll have a chance to talk about it, or you'll have a chance to talk about it perhaps more in the discussion forum this week. All right, everybody, hoping that you have a really great week. Next week, we're going to be doing a midterm on the Victorian period. You will still have the option to work with others. I'll be setting up a discussion forum where you can connect with your classmates. And the midterm is going to be not only open book and open note, but open web as well. And of course, you can work on it with your classmates, and there won't necessarily be a time limit. It'll be available to you at the beginning of next week. You'll have all week to complete it. All right, everybody, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks so much, and bye for now.